Johannesburg as we bring you that rolling coverage on South Africa's 2019 elections. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to take you through the national votes here, the National Assembly. The ANC sitting at 48.78% of those votes, the DA at 33.03%, and the EFF at 5.57% of those votes. And we're looking at 3.97% of those voting districts completed thus far. So that's just an update. But as we say, too early to call. We've got a long way to go at this point. And like I said just before that break, that we'll be crossing over to some of our reporters in the different provinces. And we're going to start with the Free State then, where Palesa Muyede joins us from the Results Operations Center in Bloemfontein. Palesa, good morning to you. Let me just take a quick look where we're standing there in the Free State at the moment. The ANC sitting at 59.14%, the DA 19.09%, and the EFF at 9.37%. Interesting results there so far coming out of the Free State. What do you have for us there at the IEC Centre? Palesa, good morning to you.
Good morning. We are here at the Results Operations Center in Bloemfontein. Now, the various political parties are gathered here, obviously, to be able to get the results as they come in, literally live. Counting is going on at the voting stations. So, once the results are captured, they come through to this center. And, we've just spoken to some of the political parties to hear how they feel. Generally, they feel that the processes have gone on smoothly. But, just to talk a little bit about how voting has progressed. We know that here in the Free State, there were about 1.4 million registered voters. We'll talk about the turnout with the IEC representative who will be joining us very shortly. But also just to make you aware, currently we've got results from only 14 voting stations, and the total figure of voting stations is just over 1,500. So that just goes to tell you that really what we are talking about right now is very, very early stages. And like you've just said, the ANC is leading, followed by the DA, then the EFF, and then in fourth place is the Freedom Front Plus. But right now we're going to talk to Mathabo Rasenge, who is the representative of the INC here in the Free State. Mathabo, thank you very much for talking to us. I'm sure you're quite tired. It's been quite a long day.
I'm exhausted, Palesa, but thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the voter turnout. Where are we standing at the moment? Obviously, like I said, it's still early. Stats are still coming in, but where are we standing?
We are at about 680,000 voters out of the 1.4 million that have registered.
So we're actually standing at less than 50%?
It's less than 50%, yes.
And do you think that number is going to go up? What's your impression?
It is going to go up because we have not included the special votes casted yesterday, and we are still not done with our statistics. As soon as we have it, I'm hoping we will get to above 50%.
And then the voting stations, did everything go smoothly? What were the issues that came up?
Well, the issues were about the weather. We had some stations that were flooded, we had some tents that fell, but we managed to remedy the situation. And again, we have about 14 stations that have captured the results so far, so we still have quite a lot to capture the results.
When do you think most results would be in?
Well, they will start from this. They started from around 11 o'clock, so from until tomorrow, 12 o'clock, will probably be halfway, if not done.
Thank you very much, Mathabo. Now, also joining us right now is Jan van Niekerk from the Freedom Front Plus.
Morning, Palesa.
Your party is currently in fourth position. basically. Were you anticipating this? How do you feel about how the processes were?
Yeah. No, thank you very much. The Freedom Front Plus sees the process as quite fair now, but we had a lot of logistical problems in the Free State. I think the rain also didn't help much to that. But a part of those problems that we had in the province were ballot boxes that weren't delivered on time and voting stations that only opened after 10 o'clock. It could have been due to the weather, but I think it's also just administrative problems that we may have seen. We are not surprised in what's happening in the Free State. We really worked hard and we're looking up to God to help us. And I'm sure we're going to do good at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Mr. Van Niekerk. Now, Kididimetse from the African Content Movement. Your party is relatively young. You only launched in December. What's your impression of how the processes went?
No, we are very happy with the process, with the results thus far.
Right, apologies. I think we're having some problems with the connection there to the Free State. I see that Palesa was trying to communicate and have a conversation with some of the party representatives. We'll cross back to her at some point during this morning. But just a reminder of where the Free State is standing then at the moment in terms of the results that have trickled in. And at this point, it's 5.36% of the voting districts completed. So still, as we say, a long way to go. But the ANC at this point is sitting at 59.75 of those votes, the DA at 18.18% and the EFF at 11.17. But also important to talk about the Free State. They seem to have some support there in the Free State, of course. So the FF Plus sitting at 6.77% of the votes. And then you might find this quite interesting. Coming up in fifth place is ATM with 0.56% of those votes. So that's what's happening there at the moment. But we'll be keeping up to date and talking to Palesa throughout the morning. We do apologize for that disturbance in our feed. Moving